Fibroids, I was terrified. At one point when I would say the word fibroids, I was terrified, of course, because I had memories of my symptoms and what I had to go through when I had fibroids. But I am here to share my story, and it's not an easy story to listen to. In every menstrual, I would notice different symptoms, from the dizzy spells, the constant urination, and the heavy clots that would come out of me. But with the fibroids, I didn't make the decision to figure out what was going on with me until I fainted. And that's when everything changed. Going to the restroom, I sat up out my bed, and I just remember everything spinning. So I'm like, okay, I don't know what this is, but I got up anyway when I should have stayed still. I got up out the bed, and I remember I just fell. I hit the side of the dresser, and that's why I have a little gash in my head here. So of course the gash, it was bleeding, my face was bloody, and I was just scared. I'm like, what was that? It's time to go to the hospital, and that's when I left. Within 2 days, I was in the hospital trying to figure out why I fainted, why my menstruals were extended, where are these clots coming from, why do I have pelvic pain, and why am I constantly in the bathroom? I didn't understand. Immediately when I went to the doctor and I told my symptoms to the nurse, because you see the nurse before you see the doctor, she said, I'm about 99% sure you have fibroids. So I asked her what it was, and she said they were benign tumors that grow on your uterus. And I said, okay, I've never heard of this before. She said, oh, okay, it's nothing. It's very common in women. One thing I didn't like about the conversation is almost as if I felt dismissed, as if I'm in a common situation along with every other woman, and because it's so common, you should be able to handle this like everyone else. Meaning the way she was talking to me, as if I should have been aware of a situation we never talk about. When I had fibroids, I started to remember back in the day certain symptoms, because when I researched, I noticed all the symptoms, and I'm like, okay, I had that in my 20s. And I said, okay, I had the pelvic pain when I was in my teens. So is it a possibility that I've had fibroids from a teenager up until now? I did notice the aggression in my 30s, but I had a lot of pain in my 20s and in my teens. So I believe it started then, but because we never talk about our menstrual cycles and we're taught to be hush-hush about it, there was no one to talk to. If my own mother is telling me how to keep my menstrual quiet, on the hush, I did not want to go public with a situation I was unfamiliar with. So I said no, and I broke down, I was crying, I talked to my mother about it. She said, listen, if you're in a position and you have a platform just to help one individual, help that person. But you have a platform where you can help hundreds, thousands, millions. Why not share your story? Don't be embarrassed of who you are or your struggle. Own it. So I did. The more we speak up and speak out on this particular fibroid situation, the more we bring awareness to women that are going through the same issues. So therefore we can maybe prevent miscarriages. You know, we can prevent the extended menstruals. We can stop the pelvic pain. We can stop the clots from coming out. You have options. But if you're unaware of your options, how do you know what to do? That's why I'm here. One of the many issues that I had with fibroids was my mental state of mind. Because of the many symptoms, I stopped dating. I separated myself from my family, my friends. I just became self-absorbed, and I didn't know who to talk to. I had to get it out. There was not another day I wanted to go past of constantly going to the bathroom. I couldn't take it anymore. Yes, I had my surgery, but I understand that I did have other options. I just wasn't aware of the other options. You don't necessarily have to have a myomectomy or a hysterectomy, depending on your situation, but there's another option, UFE. Because this experience of fibroids is very common in all cultures of women. 80% of all women will get fibroids. What level that is depends on your body. 80%? And you didn't tell me anything? As many times as I've seen my OBGYN, my pelvic pains from my menstrual cycle in my teens, you give me ibuprofen and send me on my way. Let's get to the core issue and figure out we can do that. And once we get to the core issue, we can help more than we think. Allowing women to understand their options. I didn't have a UFE option. I never heard of UFE until after my surgery. Why is that? Why out of 3 doctors, Nobody mentioned UFE, which was definitely available at that time. But what I know we can do is give you your options to remove it so you can have more of a normal life. I know several women now who's dealing with fibroids today, who has dealt with fibroids. My friend had 3 surgeries. 3. Let me tell you about my other friend. She had a baby. She knew she had fibroids before she got pregnant. She was so terrified of the surgery because her options was also myomectomy and hysterectomy. She didn't do the surgery, so she got pregnant, had the baby. Her baby was born with his eyes shut. They had to laser his eye open in order for him to see. To this day, that bothers her because she feel like she did that to her son. And she didn't. She just didn't know her options.